Alright, buckle up because this one's about America's very first group project. You know, the kind where one person does all the work, but everyone still gets the credit? Yeah, that's the Articles of Confederation. Our first... Man, let's see if this works, government plan. Picture 13 rebellious teenagers trying to split the bill at a restaurant, and you'll get the vibe of March 1st, 1781. By 1781, the Revolutionary War was still going strong, and the colonies were like that indie band trying to survive without a record label. They needed a system, any system, to prove to the world, and especially France, that they were legit. So the Articles of Confederation were written back in 1777 as a rough draft for how the colonies would govern themselves. But here's the kicker. Getting all 13 colonies to agree on anything was like trying to herd caffeinated cats. For years, they bickered over land claims, taxes, and who had to bring snacks to meetings. It wasn't until March 1st, 1781 that Maryland, the last holdout, finally gave a thumbs up and the Articles became official. Picture this. Congress was meeting in Philadelphia, and the delegates were about to sign off on a document that basically said, "We'll stay friends, but don't expect me to lend you money." The Articles created a loose confederation of states, where each state had its sovereignty, independence, and let's face it, a lot of attitude. The government under the Articles had a single house Congress. No president, no Supreme Court. Just a group of dudes trying to make decisions like, hey, should we collect taxes? Nah, let's just ask nicely and hope people pay. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Maryland was the Karen of the group, holding everything up because of land disputes. The big states, like Virginia and New York, had massive western land claims, while Maryland was over there clutching its tiny plot and saying, no, we're not signing until you share. After years of passive-aggressive letters and probably some intense side-eyeing, Virginia caved, agreeing to give up its extra land. Maryland finally signed the Articles on March 1st, and the Confederation was official. Cue the We Are the Champions soundtrack. Here's where it gets funny. The Articles were kind of like that IKEA furniture you assemble wrong and then hope no one notices. Congress had the power to declare war, negotiate treaties, and print money, but they couldn't tax anyone or enforce their own rules. Imagine telling someone, hey, I need $10,000 for the war, and they're like, hard pass. The states acted more like frenemies than teammates. New York taxed goods from Connecticut. Pennsylvania almost went to war with Virginia. It was basically Real Housewives, colonial edition. And then there was the issue of decision making. Every state got one vote in Congress, whether you were tiny Delaware or massive Virginia. It was democracy, sure, but also kind of like letting toddlers decide what's for dinner, chaotic and doomed. The Articles were a win in the sense that they gave the colonies a sense of unity, like a very fragile group chat. It was enough to keep the French and Spanish impressed and the British confused. But the cracks showed quickly. Without tax power, the government was broke. Soldiers from the Revolutionary War were like, where's my paycheck? And Congress was like, oh, about that. Inflation skyrocketed, and states started going rogue, making deals with foreign countries like rebellious teenagers sneaking out at night. The Articles lasted less than a decade, proving about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. By 1787, everyone was like, yeah, we need a do-over, enter the US Constitution. But here's the thing, the Articles walked so the Constitution could run. They were a learning curve, showing the colonies what didn't work and paving the way for a stronger federal government. Now, let's get real for a second. The Articles of Confederation were kind of adorable in their naivety. They were like a first love. You look back and cringe, but also smile because, hey, you tried. Imagine Benjamin Franklin rolling his eyes while someone argued over land boundaries, or John Adams throwing shade about tax policies. The whole thing had the chaotic energy of a Thanksgiving dinner where Uncle Larry brings up politics. So there you have it, the Articles of Confederation, America's first awkward attempt at governance. They were flawed, they were messy, but they were ours. Without them, we wouldn't have had the Constitution or the United States as we know it. And if nothing else, they taught us that sometimes you gotta mess up big before you get it right. Plus, they gave Maryland a moment to shine as the ultimate drama queen. So let's raise a glass to the Articles, a beautiful disaster that still managed to keep the dream alive.